Hey Debbie, how you doing? It's Nighthawk.
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Not too bad. You sound about as tired as I feel.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired. Pretty tired.
I figured I'd call early so we didn't keep you up any later than you had to be, and do this where we do our call-in show.
Okay.
Crazy 24 hours, huh?
It's been very hectic and very fluid and just some really surprising things have happened. So yeah, it's been something else. It's been something else.
Yeah, we just got done a little while ago doing an exclusive with Michelle Fiore and Coalition of Western States and stuff, and Eamon's lawyer, and just before they headed off to Portland, and it looks like that's part two. I heard they're holding Pete from getting bail for psychological evaluation or some crazy crap like that.
Not that I know of.
Oh, okay. Well, TBOI said that.
Well, I don't know why they would be saying that.
All right. Well, they put a thing on their Facebook saying that they were keeping him on jail, out of bail until the by court order for psychological evaluation.
I haven't heard that, and I've spoken.
Well, I'm sure you.
To the attorney today.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have heard that first. Okay, just going to show.
I would have.
Just going to show more people making up shit in order to. That's crazy. I had a feeling. I wasn't sure. So anyway, what else is going on with you out there?
Really, a lot of things were happening today. I mean, we found out, along with everyone else, that more indictments were handed down, and so, you know, those are out there on the internet. I can't remember the names right now, but several of them have been arrested already that we know of, and we know that Cliven Bundy, of course, was arrested last night. There was much chatter about that. But Portland is pretty calm. There's no extra activity. It's not like, you know, people are, you know, amassing or anything. I think there were a few patriots who showed up with signs and such in the park today during his arraignment. I haven't heard what the outcome of the arraignment was. And
right.
Exactly what's happening with him. I'm not sure if he was charged with something to do here with Oregon, or if it was all based in Nevada. We don't have that information.
Yeah, actually, we got a little bit of that information. It was the charge was conspiracy, and then they're shipping him back to Nevada. So apparently, whatever it is, it must be Nevada. If they're just sending it right after his hearing, they're sending him right back to Nevada.
Yeah, there were several. I think there were 4 indictments handed down against Mr. Bundy.
Right.
Conspiracy to impede a federal officer from doing his duty, brandishing a firearm. I'm sure you know all of this already. You've already explained it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's most of this goes back to Bundy Ranch. They got a black eye at Bundy Ranch, and now they're going to get even. I know they released 60-something more warrants. I got from somebody I know would never lie to me in Nevada.
Right.
And they arrested 2 of the guys. Let's see, Skipper and I think they said Joker Joe or something like that. I don't know. Everybody's got their handles.
That would be Joker J.
Joker J.
And I believe that, I think he was also here in Oregon. I believe he was also here.
Right.
So I'm not really sure about that one either.
And then Skipper, I guess, was Cliven's personal bodyguard.
Uh-huh.
So they got him. I guess they got tackled. One of them got hurt. They didn't keep Skipper because they didn't have anything on him, and then they kept Jay.
Yes.
So
that's what we heard also.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just You know, this is just so freaking bizarre, man.
Well, I don't know so much of this bizarre. These are all outspoken people. They've always, you know, these people have supported the Bundys, and, you know, so they're taking this opportunity to sweep them all up.
Right. Well, no, I mean, I think it's bizarre in the law enforcement angle on this. A lot of this, I don't understand why the ACLU isn't bringing their entire freaking army on this, because there are so many ACLU violations that I'm starting to see. You know, personally, that it's you know, you sit here and try to sort all this out, and your mind just goes, okay, so
right,
you know, why is this happening now? But we didn't see much of any of this in Ferguson or Baltimore or anywhere, any of these other places that this stuff was going down.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, isn't it? We were on the ground in Baltimore, and we saw plenty of people calling for people to come there and be a buffer, you know, between the people and the police. So I think that's what usually happens in a situation where there's a lot of protesting going on, where many people are protesting, people are angry. So, you know, I'm really, I'm at a loss to really, for that part of it. But, you know, Cliven Bundy did have some issues at Bundy Ranch that they're going to have to legally look at, you know, and go through the court system. So,
Right.
you know, at this point, I just don't know. I mean, sooner or later, it was going to be, you know, it was going to be in the court system, and so that later is now, and
Right.
that's what's happening now.
Yeah, and I really I've kind of gotten the impression that the feds were using David Fry and Sean and you know, and crew up there to set up a trap that worked, because it brought everybody out in the light, and that's when they're starting to get them. I mean, they got blamed this morning.
Yes,
And
he did.
And Victoria Sharp said her house was surrounded.
Well, I think what Victoria is talking about is that everybody's being surveilled. So I think that she was speaking of that and
Right. Oh, okay.
saying that in that manner.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
Quite honestly.
Right. Okay. Well, that clarifies that a little bit. I had so many feeds and audio things going on this morning. It was like, for a while, I just turned everything off and just sat here in silence for an hour. And when I turned it all off, my head started trying to explode because of the sudden deflation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's everybody is. There's a lot of high tension, a lot of anxiety, and you know, everybody's feeling the pressure. So.
Right. I got, let's see, Sherry's headed up to John Day. We're going to take one more crack at the sheriff in Grant County. I mean, we've been stood up 4 times.
Right.
After driving that many miles, because it's a long way from Burns to John Day. I mean, it's a long way from anywhere to anywhere else in Oregon.
It is. We found that out, yeah.
So she's going to go up there and grab a hotel tonight. She took off last night, drove 10 hours, broadcasted all day long. They've been up like 35 hours, and now they're headed up there. I'm like, go get some rest. Let's see what happens. So we're going to take a shot at the Grant County Sheriff's tomorrow, and then possibly come to Portland if there's any reason for it to. Is there anything going on for us to spend the money to get her on in there?
I think there will be. You know, maybe some people who gather here to, you know, try to see what they can do for their loved ones, and you know,
Right.
maybe get a little organized to do flyer campaigns and
Right.
call campaigns and things like that. But you know, I don't expect anything nefarious or
Right.
Well, I would hope not. I strongly suggest that nobody do that.
Right. Well, I mean, what I'm wanting to send her up there is just to talk to people involved, because it seems like everything's moving up there. And when she gets there, she's going to have no contact, but maybe you, if we can get her and you connected.
Right.
It seemed like we had a lot of problems, matching ends out there in Burns because everything was so crazy. So maybe
it was.
So maybe we can get you guys matched up out there. I know she's gotten a little tight with some of those people at Coalition of Western States, but I got enough money to keep her out there for 2-3 more days before we start running dry again. So I just want to make this a good trip and not. We just had one trip we sent on. I spent $275 and got 5 minutes of video. It was like, seriously.
Welcome to the extensive world of alternative media. It's very expensive.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people were kind of talking as if I got a laptop and a dial-up. So I did a tour of my studio the other night. I think I kind of freaked people out.
Sure.
So I had 20 servers.
Well, listen, Nighthawk, I have some people here that just showed up, and I really need to get to them. Thank you so much for having me on and staying in touch with me and being concerned.
All right, cool. You have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow sometime.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, bye-bye. All right, there you go. That was the call with Deb Jordan. Let's see. I'm not sure if... let's see. Sherry's on her way. Let's see. I forgot completely. We're going to do call-ins, and I meant to put this up a little bit earlier. So we beat the buffer. But, we just had 24 hours of Bizarro World. And so I'd be interested in hearing what, others got to think about it. And like I said, if you call in, make sure you're muted until your number is called in, or until I call on your number. I don't want to hear a bunch of arguing between different phone calls. If you get vulgar, rude, or disrespectful on the phone, and if you do it badly enough, I will publish your number in the chat room and will troll you right the hell back. Yeah, RevolutionRadioFreedomSlips.com, and while we wait on that, we'll go ahead and we can work this out. We'll go ahead and get a look at this again if I can. Let's see, let me get add screen cap. All right, we'll take another look at this real quick.
Yourself.
Perfect. I'm Representative Heather Scott, District 1A, North Idaho.
I'm Michelle Fiore, Assemblywoman from Las Vegas, Nevada, District 4.
I'm Representative Judy Boyle from District 9 in Idaho.
I'm Shelley Shelton, Assemblywoman in Las Vegas, Nevada.
I'm John Moore, Assemblyman from District 8 in Las Vegas, Nevada.
What brings all of you together today?
The Coalition of Western States.
There's a lot of us not here, I must say. There's a lot of us not here today. We have reps in Arizona and reps in Utah and Wyoming.
Washington.
And Washington. Actually, our director, Matt Shea, who's been on the phone with us through this whole thing, and one of our reps, Kelly Townsend, in Arizona. I mean, we have a huge participation with legislators, sitting elected officials, which are part of the Coalition of Western States.
And what is your mission statement?
We're a coalition of legislators and elected officials, and actually some pastors and clergy that are against federal overreach and tyranny.
And that brings you to Eastern Oregon.
Basically for a safe exit for Americans that were here.
We've been involved in this since day one, in parts of the negotiation. One of our members was the negotiator that got a group the larger group out earlier, and this star here
No.
finished the job.
And how did you get involved? Did you all have constituents that were here?
Yes, from each of our states we had folks that were here, and again, there's a lot of other reps that aren't here that were here in spirit on the phone through technology
And
so.
prayers.
And lots of prayers. Lots of prayers.
And we're just very pleased it ended peacefully.
Yes.
Can you tell us anything else about how everything went?
Yes, everything went well when the Reverend Franklin Graham and I went up there and we negotiated the 4 out with the FBI. Sandra and Sean and Jeff all made great statements on how well they were treated, and they let us hug them and they let us out of the car, and you know, it's when they had their handcuffs in the front of them, so if their hands were like this, so like when Sandy came to hug me, she went like this, you know. So it was just really cool, and now so it starts our chapter 2. So now we've got to run off. We've got to go to Portland because we've got to get together with all these attorneys. And now, like we said from the beginning, Cal is just, you know, we took it from the refuge to a new battleground.
Did everything go as you expected or hoped?
Everything went just as I planned.
Well, that's good news.
Yes. Safe and sound. Yeah. Planned and prayed. Yeah.
Prayer's amazing.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about Chapter 2?
Chapter 2 is going to be fought in the courts. Right now, I have to tell you, Michael Arnold, who's Ammon Bundy's attorney, has been with me since I arrived on the ground in Portland, Oregon. And I have to tell, I just want to introduce Mike Arnold here for a second and have him say a few words, because I think he could really let you know how it all unfolded, because he got me and knew it was unfolding.
Hello.
Hi. I was just pretty much the chauffeur for Michelle. She did a great job, and I was glad to.
Well, we heard you on
watch.
that call too. We were all listening, and we appreciated everything you were doing.
As you can probably realize, sometimes it's hard to shut a lawyer up, so I do apologize for interrupting.
Well, I thank you guys so much and getting the word out. And this was a community effort from the folks that were at the refuge, from Ammon Bundy sending a message out, from us going up there, from the Reverend Franklin Graham, which was the first time I got to meet him in person, and he's just as majestic a person as he is on TV, and for all of us that participated in it. Thank you.
And can I just say one thing about this entire civil disobedience, the civil protest? I've been hearing people in this diner talk about Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the Constitution, and I honestly hadn't thought about that ever in my life, and I just find it fascinating that civil disobedience can create civil dialogue, and I'm impressed that Ammon and them stuck their neck out to try to do that. It was impressive, and I'm interested to see what the next step is in Phase 2.
So the big message is to let everybody get a copy of the Constitution and learn it.
Yes, absolutely.
You have God-given rights, and you need to exercise those rights so we don't lose those rights. We need to protect them. They're sacred rights.
Well, I think as constituents, we're all lucky to have all of you on our side.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, follow me.
All right, 702-605-4277 if somebody wants to call in. All right, I guess we'll run this for now.
Introduce him. This is Sean, I'm hoping, aka Shuff1111. Let's see. We're just gonna have a conversation and talk, and he knows I am recording this. Hello?
Hey Dallas, it's Sean.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Not much. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, because I'm outside on my cell phone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been actually doing a lot of good here with these interviews. I interviewed the guy you actually sent over, Lee Rice.
Yeah?
Yeah, he called. I did an interview with him. I'm just waiting for these videos to upload. So, but yeah, he was wow. I'm loving this with people calling in because this is what people want to do, and I'm glad to be able to help Pete Santilli out. Like I told you last night. That's why I'm doing this. I'm volunteering my time for this because we do need a platform for communication, and
right.
That's what this is about. And we have to remember that Pete and Alman and all these other guys, the Hammonds, they're all still incarcerated, and David Fry, Sean, Sandy, and Jeff, they're still out there right now. So. We were talking last night before I ate. Sorry about that. What you were talking about, that you started this at Safeway, right?
When I started following it, yeah, it was about the time the protest was going on at Safeway there in Burns.
Yeah, but you weren't actually there. You don't live in Burns, and you weren't even a part of it, right?
No, I live up in Washington State, up Aberdeen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because for a while there, some people were thinking that I was Shuff, and I know some people were thinking that Shuff was David Fry, and
yeah, I know.
So, and I know some people thought that that you were like an insider there for Burns, getting David Fry's messages out there. So, and I know we had talked.
I still get a lot of comments, people thinking that I'm this person or that person, and I mean, and I get so many comments, I miss probably 95% of the comments that come through. I just can't keep up with them.
Wow.
And I put links in the description. Sometimes I think people don't know what the description box is because I put links to sources and stuff. Like whenever I post your videos that you put up, I put the link to your channel so people can go to your channel. And I don't know. Sometimes I think people just don't look in the description boxes.
Right, because I think...
So they think that every video that I put out is me.
Right. And that's what I was up against too. And people don't understand this is communication platforms. We're not in it for the money, and we're all donating our time to do this because I don't know how old you are. I'm 35, but I'm doing this
40.
For how old?
I'm 40.
Okay. So you're doing this the same reason why I'm doing this and why everyone else is doing this. This isn't for violence. We don't want violence.
Today we're going to be discussing some uncommon high-risk individuals that you may encounter in a post-disaster.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to that other video
was
wasn't really what I thought it was, but I'm going to go ahead and run this because I think it's rather important considering the possibilities of several things. This is from Canadian Prepper.
Alright, so of the many personality types and attitudinal dispositions, demographics of the people that I'm going to discuss today, chances are the overwhelming majority of mankind is going to be included in these high-risk categories. Even I might fit into some of these categories under the right circumstances. Something I should get clear right from the get-go is just because I'm talking about these people as potential high-risk people, that doesn't mean they necessarily need to be avoided altogether. And in many instances, you're not going to be able to avoid these people at all because they're going to be your family members, your loved ones, etc. Now, arguably, on a long enough timeline, everybody is untrustworthy to some degree if the right conditions present themselves. I will say again, for the sake of emphasis, that the types of people I'm going to talk about today just pose a higher than average risk than everybody else. So a heightened sense of awareness and caution should be exercised when dealing with the following individuals under certain post-disaster conditions. And as I've said before, I myself am not immune from these dispositions. I very well could be a threat to you in a post-disaster situation if the right circumstances presented themselves. Hopefully that never happens. It's important to remember that in desperate times, morality and ethics become very ambiguous, and any individual is capable of rationalizing
Stand by,
things that
213.
they otherwise might view as very repulsive if it means protecting themselves and their families. So to varying degrees, the people I talk about today, you might think that they're bad people, and some of them might be more distinctly bad than others. But I would venture to say that the majority of the people I'm going to talk about today are victims of circumstance, which is not to
All callers stand by. This is be over in a minute.
Which is just to give them the benefit of the doubt, the whole walk a mile in a man's shoes type metaphor. And as I've said many times before, I'm in no way an expert on these topics.
All right, area code 213, you're on there. Who that? Where you at? What you got to say? Area code 213.
Hey, man, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, cool. Hey, so, listening to even that last video you just played, the one thing that, and you said a little bit ago, something to the effect of this has been a crazy last 24 hours.
Yeah.
And
it
really has. And, the disinfo went up exponentially. There already has been so much disinfo, and whether it's on purpose or not. But, it's kind of like listening to that last video and listening to Dallas just say, I'm not doing this to make a name for myself. I mean, he said that over and over again. It's like, well, then why? Okay, you're not. But the point is, many people are just trying to inject themselves into this story. They're not there. They're making up scenarios as if they know what they're talking about and they don't. And that's why I'm thankful for you and for watching the news and what you guys have been doing to just kind of be a clearinghouse and bring it all in, and also not just take everything at face value. The overwhelming majority of information that we've been fed out of Oregon has been total hearsay. And so I think that that's the one thing where I'm learning about this movement and the alleged movement.
213, you are breaking up really bad. You're digitizing. 213.
Go ahead, Hawk. I don't know if I got you.
All right, now you're back. You started digitizing. You were like, sound like you were doing that Mr. Roboto song there for a second.
Well, no, I wasn't doing that song. But anyways, what I was saying was that, the one thing that I've learned about Patriot Movement, it's been very interesting because there's a lot of people that have just wanted stuff to jump off. I watched somebody last night, just very briefly, and I'm not going to even name what I'm going to tell you is, they looked like they had a virtual hard-on as they came on to their stream and said, okay, something to the effect of, we're about to get it on. And this is for the Constitution. Something along those lines. And I just thought, my God, you are, as you're there thousands of miles away and you're getting your rocks off on there's a high probability at that point it seemed like 4 people were about to die. And
Well, yeah,
this
you know,
person was into it.
well, you know, just to add into that point, I was watching my chat room and many of these other chat rooms, and people were screaming for David. Don't give up, just stay there. Don't give up, just stay there. As you know, as he went from homicidal to nervous breakdown to calm down to suicidal to nervous breakdown to calm down. I mean, the dude was freaked out. I mean, as anyone would be. As anyone would be, and then I'm, you know, and I'm seeing all these people wanting him to go out in a blaze of glory. I mean, what would be the purpose of that? That would serve zero purpose.
No, I'm with you, Hawk. It's virtual patriots. And the virtual patriots all wanted to live their little video game fantasy through David Fry, who, really, when you listen to him, is interestingly awake and also a peaceful person. You know, he just has he hit critical mass. But all these pieces of filth that were wishing for him to have his head blown off should be ashamed of themselves. And they also are people that call themselves alleged patriots. Yeah, you know, today what happened was, today for you virtual patriots out there, life 1, death 0. Okay? And get over it.
Yeah, this was a win as in the connotation, this is a win as in nobody died. Nobody else had to die here. As far as I'm concerned. I just hope that when this moves into the courts, this has enough national attention now that they're going to get a fair shake.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I'll tell you something else, that everybody should, you know, I was listening to a couple of mainstream reports. I think you maybe even have played one. It's absolutely a mind blower that they haven't mentioned Gavin Siam and Chris Hall, who this morning did, if you want to say, the good Lord's work. I mean, they were awesome. And they held his hand virtually, spiritually, these guys, and they brought him in for a landing, and it was awesome. It was awesome. And everybody should just keep spreading it out. Send them an email. Just tell them, hey, congratulations. Thank you very much. I was loving their tenacity and what they were doing. It was all about peace. It was all about life. And that's what we can celebrate. We should also send them a cheers.
Yeah. You know, and it's, and then, although I got a little frustrated with all the religious rhetoric going on in there but, you know, if it calmed him down, I don't know. But, you know, I don't think he's particularly Christian. I think he's Jewish or something. I don't know, but, it really doesn't matter. But, with most people, religion isn't really negotiable. Spiritualism isn't negotiable. Nobody finds it negotiable, especially after a certain age. And
right, I totally agree with that. I think it was just all about, hey, listen, this is what is at the center of their lives, and what they were trying to demonstrate is, this is my guiding light. It's all about peace, and let's beseech, this higher power to bring on the peace and put a blanket of peace over the situation. And so, I don't, no matter what and who's saying it, I never have a problem with a prayer. Especially a prayer that's not like, hey, let's have them be victorious in this battle as they go, and allow them to blow as many federal agents away as possible and empower them to, no way, nothing like that.
Right.
It was about, hey, let's have a successful outcome. At the end of the day, when the sun goes down, let them be alive and rest.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of this was like two football teams praying for God to let them win. It's... if you really look at, if you have any real education into Bible mythology and other, there's a lot of parts of the Bible that are missing. I've got books. I've got books upon books upon books upon books, and was Lucifer not given dominion over this earth? I don't think God is really there all that much. He's just kind of watching.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
Yeah, maybe he's got snacks. I don't know. He probably made popcorn last night. I don't know. I don't mean to be facetious. I've just been up a whole bunch of hours and I'm tired. And I'm quite honestly just burning time until we get to this last piece for the night, which is the Oath Keepers meeting to kind of discuss all this, and which we won't be taking any calls. We also have another caller on the air. Drop anchor 213 and stand by. We have 707. You're on the air. Who dat? Where you at? Area code 707.
That would be me.
There you are. How you doing, sir?
Good, very good. I don't know who the last caller was, but you really broke it down really well.
Yeah, he's still with us.
Yeah.
There's only three. There's only three of us, so we can all talk amongst ourselves without CB guy.
Yeah.
That guy was hilarious last night. I didn't block that guy because it was freaking funny.
He did. Yeah, the person I was just listening to did really well. Did a really good job. The only reason I called in was I'm not expert or anybody that he did such a good job. I was like, God, I don't even know if I should be calling you, but I've been to Burns twice. I have my own YouTube channel. I talk to Deb on a regular basis, and
you need to be.
I get that. I guess I was just going to call in and see if there's any questions you might have. I have a really good experience at Burns and what's going on. And
well, if you're close enough to actually go there, you need to send me an email. I'm collecting up a database of people all over the country that I can fund to go to any of these hot spots so we can get them covered fairly and without a spin. Coalition of Western States granted us an exclusive interview today simply because we don't spin things. I got my opinion. Everybody's got their else's opinion. But when we're actually doing just reporting, you will not hear a spin here. You hear unedited, and that's it.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. That's why I called in. I'm new to your channel. I'm newly subbed, and what's your name, by the way? Because I don't even know that is Hawk.
Everybody calls me Hawk. My first name's Mike, but I mean, I've been called Hawk since I first started jumping out of airplanes in the middle of the night with radio gear. Really heavy radio gear in the 80s.
Well, I'm a Ford observer that's used to carrying a lot of radio gear, so I know about that. But that's why I went to Burns in the first place, was just to make sure that I could protect people. Not, I wasn't going there to support the call to arms or anything like that. But I was there. I covered the first community hall meetings and everything like that, and I think that the more truth we can put out, the better it benefits people. So I will definitely follow your advice and do what you said as far as contributing. So.
Are you guys there?
Hello?
I'm not sure what happened. You might have had to peel off.
Well, this was maybe something dropped. I think you and I are still connected. I think there's a high probability that we're still probably on the air.
Yeah, I'm still here. I've been talking with the mute button down.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
That's my bad. I'm like I said, I'm getting tired and punchy. Anyway, like I said, look in the description box, find my email address, and send me an email. Otherwise, just drop anchor and hang here. We do have another caller, area code 606. You're on the air.
Hey, this is Stuart. I'm just saying my name out there. I listened to the whole thing, and I'm a Christian. Just please don't give me a hard time about it.
Oh, I have no problems with other people's belief systems.
Well, I will say, I listened to the whole thing. What's her name? Anna? What's her name again?
There was Michelle Fiore and Chris Ann Hall.
Chris Ann, right, okay. So, sorry, that's my mistake. She was my mind. I mean, at first it seemed like she was okay, but then she started asking me, okay, so can you tell me where you're at? And, listen, I worked with police 5 years. I was a police dispatcher.
Right.
I know what we're doing right there.
Yeah,
she decided to give away his place. And I mean, people were saying, man, if this woman doesn't shut up, I'm going to pull out a gun and blow my own brain out there right here. And I started saying to everybody, please start praying. Just start praying that she will shut up. And finally she did. And you know, as soon as she shut up, it's right there at the end. Right there at the end. She calmed down. And the boy went out. She did much damage.
Yeah, actually, she was almost, because she called him a coward in an offhanded sort of way.
Right.
And
and what did she do at the end after it was all over? It's all about her, man. It's self-promotion.
Oh yeah, I shut her off. That woman's voice makes me want to take bunnies and kill baby chicks while using a sledgehammer. And the entire first part of her negotiation with him was one of her freaking seminars, which hey, I seen one video she did, and I'm going, well, this one's pretty squared away, and I started listening, and it's like, oh my God, broken record much?
Right. And I mean, I was tripping there at the end because I see where it was going. She was being counseled, no doubt. And it was leading to all kinds of trouble and chaos.
Hey, may I interrupt for just a second?
Go ahead.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Hey, quick comment on what you just said, but a total sequitur, which is really tricky. I'm driving in little downtown Los Angeles. I have no idea why, because we don't see that. But 3, what appeared colored Ospreys, the military Ospreys, just flew over downtown with helicopter escorts. It looks like they're coming in very low, maybe landing somewhere over near LAX. But just a really interesting sight because we don't see that kind of military over LA that often at all. But what I wanted to point out about Chris Ann and Gavin is that Gavin was heroic. Chris Ann, listen, of course, neither one of these guys had experience with this, but let me just say this. Even though we're kind of critiquing, maybe they could have done X, Y, or Z better, Chris Ann could have, it's not her thing. This isn't what she does, is talk people down from the jump. But where were the Patriot leaders? Why weren't they calling in? Where were the guys that...
Where I'm from Moorhead, Kentucky. I'm from where Kim Davis is. I mean, I told Stone practice his building she works at.
Yeah, I've been over at your hospital fixing stuff many times. I'm over here in Marion County myself.
Okay, so, there's a lot of spiritual battle going on. I know you guys probably don't want to believe this, and that's okay. But today, there was such a spiritual battle going on. What really concerns me wasn't where the Patriots were, was why wasn't Reverend Graham, why wasn't he getting on the phone to discuss with this man who's obviously needing, he would have taken the advice.
He was on the phone. He was on the F2 phone going, and you could. I was listening via headphones, and there was time that you could hear Reverend Graham's voice coming through the other mobile phone they have that was provided by the FBI.
Yeah, he was talking stuff, but it's all hindsight now. If you two could hold on a minute, I have Jason Van Tettenhope from the Oath Keepers on with us, the media director. If you guys could stand by, please.
Yeah, problem.
All right, thank you very much. Hey, Jason, what's up? Sorry that we got a rough start there. How you doing, man?
Problem. Yeah, the Reverend was actually there, but yeah, it's been a crazy day. Obviously, a lot of us have been up listening to things all night. We've gotten a lot of intelligence today, but not very much verification on things. Right now we've heard that there are 68 indictments coming down, possibly from Bundy Ranch through. We've heard information from Sugar Pine Mine and also Lincoln County, Montana. Those three operations. However, we've got some other intelligence just coming. I just got off the phone with a fellow oath keeper that I know and have worked on some of these operations with. That's been involved as I have been since Bundy Ranch, and he told me. He's got a contact of his that works for the FBI that he did a tour in Afghanistan with, and he trusts this guy. And he basically stated that it's just the guys that are at the refuge, that were at the refuge, or coming in to try to, force a standoff, that they are arresting right now. The real question is, it's awful that they're arresting anyone, but, if they go and cast a really wide net here and start going after people. There were thousands of people at Bundy Ranch. There were hundreds of people at these other operations as well. So, if they're going to do that, that's not very far off from what Stalin did in Russia. So we've got to keep an eye on it, but we've also got to keep very calm right now and let cooler heads prevail, because it is at this point just intelligence is hearsay. I'll say that it's coming from multiple sources, and all those sources are good sources. They've got a good batting average so far, but we don't have any actual confirmation yet. We haven't seen anyone arrested outside of that circle of people that were at the refuge as kind of a leadership role, or going there to support Cliven in his call up that happened this week.
Well, fellas, I'm going to keep you all in my prayers, and you're doing a great job.
All right. Thank you much, ma'am. You have a great night.
You do. Bye.
All right. Yeah. What was I getting ready to say? I had something I was getting ready to say, and I lost it right there in mid-sentence.
We were just talking about intelligence we have coming in, and just how important it is for us to
well, yeah, I mean, we need to be watching every little single thing. I had something else I hadn't even started to say, but go ahead.
Hey, I'd like to make a comment to Representative O'Keefe that I think that what's happening now is we know that Harry Reid in the Senate and others have really been pushing the domestic terrorist meme and narrative, and they're using this now as a vehicle to really take it for a test drive. And it also serves Harry Reid's agenda. And so there's no doubt that this is what they're doing. And they're going to round up as many, and they're going to do this, and they're going to NDAA them as hard as they possibly can.
Well, yeah, I have to agree. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I looked at FAA and some flight stuff, and it looks like the FBI is standing down and leaving, but they're leaving private security and just a few there. And now they're bringing in CSI and forensics, because all the air is left, and a lot of the other guys are leaving out and heading home now. So I guess Harney County feels safe from all of us protesters. So
right, and they get we get the government that we deserve. Harney County has let Harney County get to the position it's at, and we all have done that in our individual, locales. And that's a point that Chris Ann was making this morning when she was just trying to, share her download, her knowledge, is that it's all about local. But I'm telling you right now, they are going to try and shape these guys into domestic terrorists. You can see it. Even their little bots on the forums are starting to push that one. It's starting to call them vanilla ISIS and all of that nonsense.
Well, exactly. I have a host I fired in the middle of the night last night for basically doing that. He was on my station trying to basically promote the fact that all farmers, ranchers and everybody, that we were all domestic terrorists, inbred, idiot, morons and stuff like that. We do have another call in the air. Area code 573 on the air. Who that? Where you at?
It's Bill from I lost my voice off.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm across the river from you in Missouri.
All right.
Yeah, we're waiting on the earthquake. I'm sitting right next to Stephenville, about a mile from the river.
Yeah, my stepdaughter lives right smack. I mean, her backyard, Reelfoot Lake, comes up into her backyard.
Yeah. Listen, I heard the whole thing this afternoon, and I was pretty much crazy on free on the evenings. But anyway, I'm listening to Chris Hall. I appreciate what she does. But goddamn, I wouldn't want her for a hostage negotiator. She might get me killed. Because, I mean, it was just getting crazy. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, we need to keep in mind she's not a trained hostage negotiator. She's just someone who jumped in and
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I just gotta give her applause for taking that step. I mean, I'm sure you were listening at the end there. She broke down and started crying at the end of it. She was so emotional.
I know.
Splintered from it.
I mean, it got crazy. He just needed some time to sit and think about it. And I guess he made the right decision. I hope.
Yeah,
guys,
I think that if they would have just airdropped him in a joint and let him chill out, he would have walked out a lot sooner.
What was that? I didn't get it.
I said if they had just airdropped him a joint and let him chill out for about 15 minutes, he probably would have went out a lot sooner. I'm being flippant, but
Might be true. Hey guys, have a good night. I'm listening. I'm going to be off here. Just listen on here.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, good night.
All right. Anyway, Jason, continue.
Sure. We're going to be having coming here at 7:30. Stuart Rhodes is going to be joining me, and we've got a few other people that are going to be joining to weigh in on, basically the last 48 hours, what we know, what we don't know, and kind of playing out some of the scenarios that are possible.
And that's 10:30 Eastern time, right?
10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Mountain.
All right, so all you callers out there need to keep me busy, because if I sit here and get bored, I'm going to fall asleep, literally. I'm getting kind of punchy, man.
Well, let's go ahead. Make sure you're giving out the call-in line.
Yes, it's 702-605-4277. It's also in great big print on the live stream, and we also have mods punching it in constantly. So,
well, we got what we're really looking at here, I think, more than anything, is we just got to wait and see what's happening with these, whether these 68 indictments are real or not. That's really what it comes down to, because if it is and they're coming after patriots, then it's going to change the whole dynamic of things. Again, it's awful that we've lost Loy. Everyone knows he was a friend of mine, and he was a friend to the whole country. He was a friend to everyone who knew him. He was just a great man. But things have been getting crazy since he died, and we've got to just let things settle. We got to, I got to tell you, man, I had someone put a bullet through the hotel room wall, where one of our people were staying over the funeral, as a message. I honestly think it was some of the militia folks that were involved with Cliven, but I don't know who it was. But it just goes to illustrate how crazy things have gotten in the last few weeks or last few days, and that we've got to just see where things lay. We got to not get caught up in the emotion of the moment, and think strategically. So really, we've got to do a better job of figuring out this intelligence and see if these are real. Unfortunately, the way it was explained to me by Sheriff Denny Pyman, who's a friend of yours, Chalk, and mine, these federal indictments can be very hard to see if they're real or not, because it can be just the judge and the prosecutor and the law enforcement officer that know about it. They don't necessarily put it up onto the network, the NCIS or NCIC, whatever they call it, where you can look it up. If it's a federal warrant, they can just be having it in their pocket and decide to go on it whenever it suits them. I was actually talking with Blaine Cooper yesterday before he was arrested. And, I got him in touch with Sheriff Pyman to see, because he was wondering if he could find out and where he could find out and how he could, if it was a case, so he could make plans for his family. And unfortunately, you can't just look it up. And obviously, in that case, they picked up Blaine not long after I talked to him. I was talking to him before things kicked off at the refuge. I got a few texts from him right afterwards, but by about midnight my time, I wasn't hearing anything back from him. So I think he was arrested about 12:30 or so my time. But it just you can't tell. So how do we know? We're trying to reach out to our contacts that we have in the FBI and see if that's the case. But right now we're kind of in this limbo where we're not sure.
And again, into the looking glass, just 213. What's your response on this? I have to make a call real quick, guys. If you could hold the air for me, please.
Yeah, I got it. Go for it.
No worries. My response to that is that the one thing I think is that there's no sympathy from the left side of the thought spectrum in the U.S. This has been made a mockery on mainstream news and mainstream television in general, and so I think the one thing that the Patriot movement, as this moves forward, if these indictments are legit, people start to really have hardcore charges come down on them. And I just think the fact that they've been arrested is hardcore. So what needs to happen now is that those of us that may be more libertarian oriented, or, that we have to push that this is a freedom issue. This is an issue that affects everyone. Tomorrow, those of you over on the left side of the spectrum that are making fun of this and you want to practice your weird racism / regionalism because you're trying to belittle guys that maybe wear cowboy hats or whatever you do to try to diminish it. But the point is what they're doing is for the greater good. They're doing it for all of us, and that some of them have done things in other areas, just like Pete Santilli and Deb Jordan were on the ground in Baltimore. And now the alleged Patriot movement needs to be supportive of issues that maybe don't affect the rural America, and what is traditional mainstream America, but things that maybe affect freedom issues in the urban environments, and just let people know, hey, this is a freedom issue, and maybe I don't agree with you. Maybe I don't stand shoulder to shoulder with you on a certain issue, but I sure do as a United States citizen and for your rights. Because right now, man, there's not any sympathy towards the cause for these guys. Most people are closed-minded and they're stoked that they've been caught because they do look at them as a threat. They're scared of these guys. They don't realize that these guys are doing this out of love for their country and their fellow citizens.
Well, this is all a huge threat to their welfare from the government, largest from the government. Hold on, Denny wants to join us. So give me a second. I got to add him in here.
Sure.
So you're going to hear some ringing in the background, guys. So.
And I may lose you. Sorry.
Well, we're easy to find.
Well, you're right. Definitely, I look at some of these comments that are on the Oregonian and whatnot, and it just blows me away how people can just be so flippant about something. I mean, all we have to do is look at history to see that, they came for different groups in Germany. They came for different groups of citizens in Russia. And if they come after us for this particular reason, well, who's going to be there to back you up when they come after your group next? When you step out.
Exactly. Well, ISIS is actually has training camps in the United States. We've also got Denny Pyman, Kentucky, retired sheriff now, but here from Kentucky. How you doing, Denny?
I'm doing good, thanks, Mike.
Man, what the hell you think about this last 24 hours?
Well, I listened to the live feed stuff last night, and I don't know, there's so much going on right now, and a lot of it is not really positive in the light of the American public. Some of the stuff that was going on this is just my opinion. I wasn't there, But the thing, nothing was handled very well. A lot of the stuff from the very start hasn't been handled very well. I think I don't know if that's a leadership problem or just not organized, or everybody going off and doing their own thing instead of being organized and having a goal and working towards that. And that's what they're trying to do to us. They're trying to keep us separated, keep us doing things like that while they can go about their business. And even with the arrests and stuff that were made, that's just a way of them putting a halt to things. It'll get tied up at court. You get drug out and get, just like we were just talking earlier with the Hammers. It's been 5 weeks since they've been in, and nobody's really talking about that. There's a lot of things that have just happened here lately that are taking the attention off of the prize and going elsewhere. I haven't got to listen to the first part of the broadcast, so I don't know where you guys are coming in from, or
we're just there's another live stream coming up, and right now I'm just taking calls and calling everybody I know that that is even interested in this if they want to weigh in, because I mean, through all this, we've all been a little confused about the bizarre nature of this entire event as far as the law enforcement angle goes on this, simply because, in my opinion, this is simply because we have watched, LA, starting at the LA riots and right on through Ferguson and Baltimore and all that stuff, and we have never seen anything like this before. Right. And, so, out at Bundy, and then at the FBI conference, which we were at live, folks. Believe me, I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm sending people to these events to make sure we can cover it, and we have garnered enough respect that we even got exclusive interviews that no other network was allowed to get, because we're not spinning anything. We're just giving you the cold hard truth, whether you want to accept it or not. And we went to the FBI conference, and I'm sitting here, and that FBI guy's like, well, there's repercussions. You can't occupy federal land. It's not federal land. It's public land. Is there not a difference? Is there a difference in there? Am I missing a page? Did I miss a memo?
They're uneducated, and they've been indoctrinated, which, the FBI and it's all government people that you're dealing with. So you're not dealing with the same type of people that we are. You're not their agenda is totally different than ours. Ours is give it back to the people, and the way they're doing things and the way they've been trained in their mindset. Government, it's all about government. So,
right. I mean, you're in the middle of the Daniel Boone National Forest, and I've been over there. Is your entire county controlled by BLM in one way or another?
Forest Service. Over here it's Forest Service.
Oh, it's Forest Service and not Department of Interior. Well, that's good. Or that's better than Department of Interior. There seems to be a weird division when you look at those maps of who owns what, where the Mississippi seems to be, there's a huge change the minute you cross the Mississippi in BLM-controlled land.
Did you listen to Representative Ivey out of Utah? He gave a really good 15-minute talk on why that line is there. If you look at that map, as soon as you pass through, Missouri and head on west, all of a sudden everything's a red dot. 90% of Nevada is owned by or owned. It was controlled by the BLM, or federal land. So what happened back in 1828, I can't get all this right because I'm not real good on dates and all the remembering and stuff, but it was after the Civil War, and that land was being held as a territory by the federal government at that time to be released after the Civil War to the states to be divided up, and that's where they were going to sell the property to individuals and be able to build a tax base to form their state. Well, what happened was they actually paid for the war. The war was paid for in 3 years. They didn't need the property to sell to the public, but it still was supposed to be to the state to be given out to the people dispersed how they saw fit as a state. And the federal government stepped in and says, you know what? I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to hold that property. We'll take control of that property, and then we'll do is we'll give you money for it as you need it. Doesn't that sound familiar? And they actually came together as a community, as a group of the states, of 7 of them, from Florida on north. I can't remember, Alabama, Georgia, Missouri, Illinois, or Indiana, right on north. And they went and says, no, you're going to keep your word. You said if we, put the land in your hands, that, at the end of the war, everything will work out. We're going to have it dispersed. They made them stand good on their word. They fought them. It took till, I forget how many years to get that land. But that, if you look on the map, there's very little property that's owned by the federal government from there on west is where it starts, because those people didn't step up and go to the federal government and say, you need to keep your word. This is what it's all about. If you can look at it's Representative Ivey out of Utah, if you get a minute, he will educate you so quickly in 15 minutes as to everything that happened and why. It's really, really good speech that he gives.
Yeah, it's, man, I just don't know. I don't know what the hell we're going to do at this point. And now the government just showed everybody to be scared. And so many people are absolutely and completely uneducated about everything. And I'm going to read something right now that somebody posted about me on Facebook. I had to fire this guy last night because after I did an update, he was basically making fun of farmers and ranchers and country people as a bunch of backwards, uneducated, inbred, hillbilly idiots. This dude is a middle of LA guy, thinks he's something. And when I read this, you're going to notice there is a complete and total a contradiction of even his own words in the first paragraph. He's trying to start some kind of social media war with me for his own personal glory and fame, I guess. The guy's kind of a narcissist, but it says, I'm gone from Revolution Radio. Mike Ringley, a.k.a. Nighthawk, is a COINTEL gatekeeper who is working for the government. He is using Revolution Radio to try to control the truth. Now he's trying to promote an armed rebellion against the federal government and has been actively trying to promote, and he says he has been trying to promote a peaceful, non-armed response that will bring down the NWO by attacking alien tunnels under the Getty Museum in Los Angeles. So I gotta ask, how can I be working for the government and promoting a war against government at the same time? And I have never asked anybody to raise an arm to anybody. I mean, that is such a complete and total contradiction.
I think anybody that listens to you just knows different. And basically, I don't know the gentleman, but basically he's playing his hand, not very well, in fact, but playing his hand is to draw you out, to maybe draw attention to himself. But on a deal like that, I think your listeners know better. I just blow them off.
Yeah, I did. I had to mention it because it's freaking hilarious. Because it's like, I just found it absolutely stunning that some guy that's supposed to apparently know everything made a complete contradiction within his first sentence.
Yeah.
You're working for the government and promoting attacking the government at the same time. How is that even possible? The government is paying me to attack them.
Does it pay well?
No, Lordy. Anywho, hey, when we have our big station camp out this year, Denny, you got to come over and join us. We have a great time for a couple of days.
I'd love to. That'd be a lot of fun.
All right, Jason, you're back.
I am. Denny, we're going to be doing a special broadcast with Stuart, a few others from national leadership. You're obviously included with that, being one of the board of directors. If you'd like to join us for that, it'll be just a short broadcast, probably 30 minutes to an hour, that we're doing live here on Revolution Radio. And then we'll also put out audio files of it to the websites and whatnot. But you're welcome to join us. But here in a couple of minutes, we'll be switching over to that. And we won't be taking any questions from the public other than if you want to try to get something through the chat room, I'll monitor that. But this is just kind of a communication out from both Keepers leadership about the last 48 hours. So.
Yeah, just all you have to do is just either I'll either wait or just call me right back, or I'll give me a call with a number. Whatever you want me to do.
Yeah, we can just keep Don here, I think. I'll just ask you to A and B here in a second, and we'll go from there.
Hey, don't try to add the studios, Jason. They already have other shows running on it. I'll be relaying you through Hawk's Nest, and we'll be doing this exclusively on the live stream.
Oh, okay. I need to go change my posting then. Okay. I just put that it was on AB and Hawk's Nest, so it's only on Hawk's Nest and on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, on the live stream. And what you're going to have to do is I'll hang up with you, and then you call me back. That way you can control the calls.
Okay.
Okay?
That'll work.
All right. So how far down the road here? A few minutes? 10 minutes?
Probably just a couple minutes here. Let me go edit the where people can listen, though. So again, so I'm clear, it'll be on Hawk's Nest and on YouTube stream. Can you send me the link for the YouTube stream real quick?
Oh, wow, okay.
Or I'll find it.
Okay, yeah.
All right, give me a minute here.
I'm always juggling chainsaws over here. Hey, Denny, are you on Facebook?
Yeah.
All right,
I read a lot. I don't say much.
All right, well, I'll just go add you because it's it's a fast way to contact if I need to contact you.
Yep, that's a good way. Obviously you have my number. You can text me, you can Facebook,
right?
Call me, whatever you want to do.
I can't text anybody. I don't own a cell phone. I used to have a cell phone when I was out on the road with my job, and that job got outsourced, so I don't need one. I have an emergency cell phone. It's just a junker that's a burner phone. I leave in the van. It's usually never charged up. Just in case my wife gets in some trouble, between here and town.
Yeah. If you get a chance, look up that Representative Ivey out of Utah. Take 15 minutes to listen to that guy. A lot of information and educates you really fast on why that line is there and what the states did to get their land back from the federal government.
All right. I will do that in the morning. I'll probably end up live streaming and rerunning it.
It's pretty educational. I was well pleased to listen to it.
Yeah, and excuse the pauses here, folks. We're trying to organize some different things, so just kind of hang out, stand by. Excitement is coming. Well, I keep closing the wrong boxes. All right. So I think I got myself back under control. All right, Jason, you want me to just drop you and then you and Denny, and then we'll just wait until you call me back?
That'll work.
All right.
So I'm going to grab, what do I need to grab server-wise?
Hey, you don't have to grab anything. I'm going to take care of it for you here. All you have to do is call me here at this Skype channel.
I'm talking to you now. Okay, will do. I'll call you right back.
All right. Everybody just kind of hang tight here for a minute.
Said before, I myself am not immune from these dispositions. I very well could be a threat to you in a post-disaster situation if the right circumstances presented themselves. Hopefully that never happens. It's important to remember that in desperate times, morality and ethics become very ambiguous, and any individual is capable of rationalizing doing things that they otherwise might view as very repulsive if it means protecting themselves and their families. So to varying degrees, the people I talk about today, you might think that they're bad people, and some of them might be more distinctly bad than others. But I would venture to say that the majority of the people I'm going to talk about today are victims of circumstance, which is not to absolve them of the responsibility for their actions, which is just to give them the benefit of the doubt, the whole walk a mile in a man's shoes type metaphor. And as I've said many times before, I'm in no way an expert on these topics. I don't think anybody can proclaim to be. These are just ideas for your consideration. Now, another type of high-risk person who is probably more easily identified, and I don't speak about these people in a disparaging way, obviously, because I work with many of these people. In fact, some of these people are my family members. But anybody who's on psychiatric medication, if they've become dependent and chemically balanced on some kind of psychiatric medication, which will ultimately be in short supply in a post-collapse environment, then clearly they run the risk of becoming mentally and emotionally unstable.
All right, folks, this
now,
is Jason Van.
This
All right, no problem. Letting everybody know we're getting it all situated. I'm going to go to the other computer so I can also do my own promoting to get people moving in here.
Stuart, are you there? Stuart? Looks like we're connected, but I'm not able to hear you. I'm going to try reconnecting.
Hello.
Stuart, this is Jason Van Taten. You're live on the air with us. How are you doing tonight?
Good. Is this live or recorded?
This is live.
Okay, got it.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and try to bring Sam Culper on. I hadn't heard back from anyone else yet. Is there anyone else you want me to try adding?
I think Pete wrote back and said that he has a dead phone and too much background noise, so he's not going to be able to make it. So I think Matt Bracken has a family night tonight. So we're going to have to catch them on Sam's next podcast.
Okay, and we'll set that up here real soon and get that out. So let me add Sam, and we'll get moving with what we know. Sheriff Denny Pyman's also willing to join us if we want to add him as well.
Sure, that'll be fine.
Okay.
What about Sergeant Bridget Santoro?
I'll try giving him a ring, but I have yet to get through to him.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
All right. So I'm going to add Denny right now.
Okay.
Hello.
Sheriff Feynman, this is Jason Van Titten of You're Live on the Air. We have you on here with Stuart. I'm going to add Sam Culper real quick. Thanks for joining us. While we're adding Sam, Stuart, maybe you can go over your reflections of the last 48 hours. Okay, we'll hold off.
Yeah, good. Go get him.
Sam Culper is the editor and publisher of Forward Observer magazine and does a lot of intelligence classes. He's had a whole career worth of intelligence work. He's one of our advisors.
Hey, Jason, what's up?
Hey, Sam, how you doing, my friend? You are live on the air. We are here with Stuart Rhodes and Sheriff Pyman as well. So thanks for joining us tonight.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on.
Sam, you there?
I am.
All right, we're back on. Back on. Yeah, Stuart, quick. Sorry about that. Something just dropped.
I'm still here. You guys fell off there for a second. Not sure why.
Okay. All right, we have Stuart back. It looks like. Stuart, are you with us? Stuart. That's the busy signal. Does that? Hold on a second. Stuart, are you with us?
Kind of sounds like he's in the car or something.
Stuart. No, I think it'll eventually come to a. That's the. So we've got to wait for him to hang up. So give me one more chance here. Otherwise, we'll go on for a little bit and try re-adding him here in a second. Oh, here he is. All right, Stuart, we've got you added back on.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start off, folks, with just kind of recapping what's happened in the last day or so. Stuart, I'll let you go ahead and start things off. Obviously, it's been a wild ride for a little bit here. Let's start off with what we know and what we don't know. I'll let you take the lead on this.
Well, we do know is that Cliven Bundy, unfortunately, had pretty much told everybody, well, he did tell everybody that he's now in charge, that the people at the refuge should not leave, and that they're not going to give the buildings back to the government. And he put a statement out just last night calling for militia to go there, his wife did, to meet him there at the refuge. And so it was not a surprise to us that the FBI arrested him the way they did. I know there were other folks that were, like the attorneys for Ann Bundy, who were frustrated that they did that in the middle of the final negotiations for the final 4 occupiers at the refuge. But I think that they were trying to cut him off. I think Cliven was planning on going there, and there were other folks headed that way also. And so that explains why they did it the way they did it. What's disconcerting is the indictment against him reaches all the way back to Bundy Ranch, and alleges a lot of nasty stuff, that he threatened police officers and assaulted fellow officers and you name it. But I think the takeaway is that unfortunately Ammon and his father and his brother gave their own heads to the feds on a silver platter. And our concern is they give up everybody else's heads too. But it doesn't look like they're going to go beyond the occupation of the refuge. I certainly hope not. That's something I think we should, be ready for in case it does happen. But I definitely think that it's important. Like I've been exchanging emails with Matt Bracken and Pete from Western Rifle Shooters, and Pete said one message was, keeping cool and waiting for hard facts before anything. And I think that's really good advice. Just kind of take things as they come. Don't read too much into things. But I think, like I said, I think they opened the door. Unfortunately, they opened the door for revenge upon the Bundy family for Bundy Ranch. It made it very easy. And nothing worse than going from your strong point all the way to some place where you're isolated and weak. And that's what Cliven did. It made it very easy to arrest him. So there's that. The final four, I think we need to give props to Michelle Fiore, the state rep from Nevada, and also to Matt Shea from Washington State, both of them with Coalition of Western States. And they did a Hail Mary last-minute appeal. And I guess David Fry, one of the last holdouts, requested Michelle Fiore in person, and she went out there in an MRAP, or a Bearcat, and along with the pastor, and they were able to get him out. So it's something we had offered a couple of days ago. At the time, the FBI was not letting anybody in out of concern for their safety, but they finally caught a clue at the end and realized that that's what they had to do. So thankfully, he did not have any more loss of life. Otherwise, bad enough. So that's the end of that. But now we have to worry about whether the weenies and the DOD, the lawyers, will be stupid enough to start casting that very broad conspiracy net, casting it beyond just Cliven and his sons and their inner circle. So we'll see. Hopefully they don't.
Do you think it could be a test to see how the American people will react if they start pulling in patriots and arresting them?
Well, I can tell you right now, it won't go very well. I think they realize that. Hopefully the adults in the room realize that, the people that went to Bundy Ranch are the same people who guarded all the recruiting centers across the country. They're the same people that deployed Ferguson, to guard against arsonists, some of them very directly. But they're also the same kind of people. And so I don't think it'll go well, put it lightly, if they go and start grabbing just guys who showed up to prevent a Waco situation at Bundy Ranch. They're going to go spectacularly bad for them. And that seems to be the consensus among the more level-headed folks that I've been emailing back and forth, including Matt Bracken. So we I never put anything past the stupidity of man. So you always watch for it and provide for it. And what I think that means is I encourage folks to go back and read the famous quote from Alexander Solzhenitsyn from the Gulag Archipelago, where he talks about how he burned in the camps later, wondering what if things had been different. In other words, why do they wait for the knock at the door to come to them one at a time? We drove off to the Gulag. They should have fought back. And I think that we've learned that lesson. So I don't think it would go down the same here if they tried just to start rounding, mass arrest of patriots who were at Bundy Ranch. I think it would go very badly. So, but I don't want people to get spun up and start thinking that it's about to come down, because we don't think it will be. If it does, it does. You deal with it.
Sam, what are your thoughts of the last 24 hours? Give us what you're thinking about.
Well, I think frankly, Cliven Bundy just started pushing his luck, and had he not gone to Portland, it's obviously a very low chance that he would have been arrested. And I don't know enough about the Bundys and their friends and bodyguards and allies to say what's going to happen after this. But my major concern is that there is a reaction to his arrest, and it's a little short-sighted, and we get into this situation that's even more volatile, even more potentially very violent. And not at all healthy for the nation, and especially not healthy for those in the liberty and veterans movement, because it puts both sides further on edge.
Sheriff Pyman, what are your thoughts as to what we've seen going on in the last 24 hours and the situation now?
Well, the last 24 hours, just like Clive and leaving going up there, I understand, why he did that, but I also don't understand why he left his position where he was, that he could still been very effective from right there, He basically was pushing the envelope a little bit. It depends on, how, he pushed it, now they pushed back, and now it's kind of a stalemate. We're all sitting here to see who's going to push which way, We're going to sit back and just do the process of, dragging this out through courts, through hearings, and meanwhile, it's taken the focus off other things they're doing, in Red River and other places where the same things are going on. They're also trying to send a fear to people that, if you're going to, stand up and be accounted for, we're going to arrest you for it. They're still pushing their weight, and, for the American public to push back, there's certain ways of doing that, but it's going to reach a point where people are going to feel there is no other way yet to go. And, you have a certain group of people that are just idling, waiting for that to happen. And you've got a group of ourselves, patriots, that are wanting to work things out. We're wanting for our country to get healed up and to grow without having, to go through the civil issues, civil war, whatever it would be, a revolution. But I don't know. It's just the things that have unfolded in the last, 24 hours is them, pushing their weight, which, after the things that they've done, they basically can't back off any. They have to keep pushing forward. Otherwise, they're gonna take a black eye at some point, and they already have. But obviously, that doesn't bother them, and they're willing to continue in the fight. I don't know. It's sad to see that we let it get this far, and it's going to be even sadder to see where it goes from here, because I don't see really, unless all of us get together and say, hey, we're just going to lay down and let them do what they want. We don't want any trouble. But I don't see that happening, and I just feel the end of this. We don't know where that. It's like Stuart said. We don't know where that point is. It's somewhere out there. We don't know what's going to set it off. Just the things that have happened with LaVoy and that, things have already triggered, to push to that point. But now in the last to detain them for, minimal reasons, but yet to show that they can do that. So what do we do to push the envelope back, or do we just take it,
Well, Denny, we were talking earlier about this type of federal warrant that would be issued if there was actual warrants out there, and you really can't check on it. It's not something you can check a database on. Tell us a little bit about how these types of warrants work and why we aren't able to verify it.
What they do on a county level, if a sheriff goes in and talks to his prosecutor and shows that there is a crime, then he takes that, draws up a warrant, they take it to a judge. The judge reads it over, says, yeah, this is a crime, and signs it. Okay, at that point, most common, and on the county state level, they'll take that warrant, they'll enter it NCIC. Unless it's just a county warrant, they won't take the time to do that, because they can go out and get the guy. But if they go out and they can't find the guy, they'll enter it NCIC, hoping that maybe somebody in another state will wander onto it, depending on what the crime was, and be able to pick the guy up. What the feds do a lot of times is when they go to get their warrants, they seal them. I mean, I've gone out on warrants a lot of times with these guys, not even knowing who we're going after. There's just, hey, come on, I got a warrant, we're going to serve one. And they keep it to themselves. They want you to share what you know, but they will never share what they know with another agency. And what they do is they get a warrant on an individual, and they'll seal that. The only person that really knows is the head of the organization or that officer, that agent, whichever the case would be, the prosecutor and the judge that signed it. So he could actually have his own agenda. He could sit on that for as long as he wants, just like the warrants on St. Cliven. think possibly those warrants were, signed a long time ago, but they're using to their benefit as when and where to make that arrest. And even at that, once they've made that arrest and they're detained, basically they've taken that voice out of, being able to say anything, being able to have a part, and they've silenced that. And that's the sad part is, also you start pulling out leadership like that and pulling those certain people away. Well, the next people coming in, are they going to have the same peaceful manner as to how to correct things and how to make things continue to go in the direction of progress? Or are we going to start falling back on people that are not in leadership and just making calls on their own? I mean, we have always, this group right here, we've always talked things through and made decisions. And so far, from everything I see, we've always made the right decision. But we weigh those things out. I know we've had meetings for hours on end as to making a little decision as to what to do. And Stuart has been really good about listening to his board and the people he contacts, giving him advice. But these guys now, when they pull those kind of people out of the picture that maybe don't have that, you're going to end up with people that aren't going to be, follow under leadership.
Sam? I'd like to add something to that.
Please.
When it comes to resistance, Sheriff Pyman was with us at Bundy Ranch, and we flew him in along with a couple other sheriffs for the express purpose of making it clear to the feds that this is not just your cut and dry normal standoff with people that they could marginalize. You had active duty legislators coming there from all over the West. You had sheriffs coming in, showing their support, and that was done to create that doubt in their mind, add a political element to it, and a pretty serious credibility element to it. So credibility is the coin of the realm. And one of the things that we talked to Lavoie about in the last phone call we had with him was the utility of using a sheriff and picking a county with a strong sheriff. And so I think going forward, if ever you're going to go and choose a fight and pick a place to go and make a stand, I think you need some critical lessons learned from this is, one, do it in a county with a constitutional sheriff. I mean, this is what kind of drove me nuts about with Hammond. He could have done that anywhere he wanted to. He had the chance to choose his ground. Once the Hammonds rejected assistance, there's no need to stay in Harney County. He could have gone there to another county. So I think that for folks who are interested in sticking their thumb in Leviathan's eye in the future, do it in a county with a constitutional sheriff who will support you, and you can rally the people around him because he has max credibility. That's one where the bad guys yet have tried to walk on a sheriff. They're very leery of that for good reason. It's really bad optics for them. So that's critical, number one. Number two, be doing it in defense of an actual person, a sympathetic person who you're defending. Bundy Ranch itself was an example of that. Here you had a ranching family that you had contractors put against. He was sympathetic, and that's why we had the moral high ground there. Same goes for Sugar Pine Mine. A couple old miners, a couple old veterans. White Hope in Montana, same thing. You have a sympathetic person. The Hammonds themselves would have been very sympathetic. So do it in defense of an actual person, do it under a constitutional sheriff, and do it where you have, if you can do it, local support. Now, Red River's an example where apparently the sheriff up there is not so great, and you might have to just, deal with it when you got a bad sheriff. But at least you got a sympathetic person you're trying to defend.
Absolutely. Sam, what are your thoughts? Do you think that they might actually go after folks? Do you think this is just possibly some bad intelligence? What does your gut say on these indictments? What do you think's really happening there?
Well, from an intelligence perspective, it'd be pretty foolish for me to give you an answer based on my gut, because in intelligence we always want to go off vetted, verified information, and still information is not intelligence. So, to be perfectly honest with you, my background's not in law enforcement, and I don't have any insight into the FBI's decision-making process or what they, may do. The only thing that I can say is from an intelligence perspective is that there is a capability for them to go after the guys at Bundy Ranch, and it seems to be the intent. But if we look at what happened to Cliven, if we use Cliven as a metric, like Cliven pressed his luck, and so it seems to me that the Bundy guys may very well get out of it if they don't call for continued disruption like Cliven has. And I'm not saying that's the right or wrong thing to do, but just from a purely course of action perspective, that seems to be the biggest indicator of becoming a target for law enforcement, is continuing to cause problems, just like the FBI let a lot of those guys go from the refuge. And if they, keep their nose clean, so to speak, they may just get off with no problems, right?
This is Denny. Can I speak for a second on the law enforcement side of that?
Please do, Denny.
Whenever we would say serve indictments, there'd be times that we would have that many. And a lot of times, I would have people when indictments come out, they send out a number and they'll grab a few people. And that sends out a fear in the community. Everybody quits doing whatever they're doing, thinking that, they're going to be coming after me. And what it does is it buys them time. Yeah, they have the indictments sometimes. Sometimes they don't. And when they do have the indictments, sometimes you don't want to go get everybody at once. You want to give people a chance to mull over and realize that, they've got an indictment on me. And this is just from past experience. We would grab a few people to shake up the community and set on the other indictments for a while. And what happens, you find people say, if you got an indictment, there's people that want to make deals. There's people that want to give information. I'll give you information and basically what that's doing is strengthening their other cases. And so it gives them a bargaining chip, to strengthen the case that they have. What they do is they'll go after certain people, say like Cliven, who is the name out there, who is, going to draw the media, draw the attention. And meanwhile, you've got people all over the country saying, man, I was involved here. So all these people wondering, things that they've said. I mean, everybody's checking their closet right now, because they could be indicted as well. That's what they want. It's sending the bully syndrome, it's sending a fear to the community. There will be some more people picked up, but there'll be some that we've had indictments that you can turn back in. Once it's signed, you just go to the judge and say, hey, the judge is the only one that can pull that back. But a lot of those people, when they let walk, I can guarantee they say, okay, we're going to let you go, but you can be indicted later. And if they need that person later, then you can bet that they'll have an indictment on them for something to be able to pull them back in to be able to talk to them. But that's how, a lot of times, how they build their cases. If there's a weak case on the upper end, like, with Cliven, and he's drawn so much attention, they'll get other people to, with the fear of being, incarcerated for a period of time, that will actually help out with the case that, normally wouldn't. So there's a lot of different things that the FBI does to strengthen their cases, and that's one of them.
Well, we certainly appreciate the insight. Stuart, what else would you like to mention here tonight? I was only planning on doing a short segment here, so...
Well, I want to get back to some resistance points.
Sure.
I think, number one, when it comes to the cases we have in front of us, the indictments, I think people need to be gearing up for jury nullification. They should be in contact with Full Informed Jury Association. In fact, I already am. I just got a word back from one of the founders. Educate the people, the jury pool, educate the potential jury pool about their power to judge the law as well as the facts and their right to do that. So I think FEJA is an important step going forward. They still have a right to jury trial. And if you hang a couple juries, well, it takes just one juror to hang a federal jury, that will stymie and stall the, we're just trying to go and try to find, and we can help with this, try to find an independent sheriff who's trusted by the patriot community, who's willing to step up. It would be Sheriff Palmer. maybe Sheriff Hanlon from Douglas County, who did a really good job after the school shooting up there. We should find preferably an Oregon sheriff. So I just planted that bug in his head and give him that idea, to look for a sheriff to do an investigation. And if they need money to fund it, we will, if we're worried about money, we'll raise the money. There's no doubt that we can get donors across the country to contribute to an investigation fund. So Sheriff Hyman, if you have any ideas on that, we'll put together a team and let us know, okay?
Okay.
And the last thing I want to say is that this brings back the point of end states. And Matt Bracken and I have been emailing back and forth. One of the things he said I thought was really important is that whatever happens, the end state is what matters. We all know that the economy is basically a zombie economy. The end state is going to be an economic collapse, and out of that will be the end state of, social disruption, food scarcity, all the things you would expect in an economic collapse. So think about end states and think about what you're going to need during that time of trouble. You're going to need local security. You're going to need food. You're going to need infrastructure. So I think it's really important for us going forward to get back to those basics. Are you training? Do you have local security and support, mutual aid? And that washes over into, well, what if they do start going after everybody? Well, hey, if you squared away and you know who's on your buddy team, your fire team, your squad, and you've squared away your own local intelligence team, you've got some mutual support in your community, that answers that question right there. Then you can do a counterpart to what happened in Idaho. And the VA came for that one veteran's guns, or wanted to take his guns. All his neighbors got together and said, no, you don't. And his sheriff was on his side, and so was the state legislator. So basically, they built community there, okay? And like Pete says, it's a meat space. That's what's going to count. So no matter what happens, you can war game all day long about, worst case scenarios, but they have the same requirements for you to weather through them. You gotta have local security, you gotta have intelligence, you gotta have food, commo, medicine, you gotta have all of those. Basically, you gotta have the militia, which we don't have anymore. So then that's our end goal, is to get back to a true militia of the people, well regulated, well organized, well trained and equipped. That's our end state. That's our desired end state. So we want to walk from here to there, and the question is will we get there in time? We don't know. But we're certainly going to be better off if we continue to make those critical changes. Too much time is spent wringing hands and worrying about the latest travesty online, and not enough on getting organized.
Good words.
Sam, do you have anything to add to that, especially on intelligence?
Yes, please do, Sam. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my computer system here.
No problem. Yeah, just to kind of extend what Stuart said there, community is extremely important. One of the lessons that we've learned from the Black Lives Matter movement is that local public opinion affects local politics and it affects local law enforcement. I'm not saying that public opinion is going to help get folks off of federal charges, but if I was looking at an indictment, one of the things I would be doing is doing the best work that I can for the community, becoming a pillar of the community, volunteer, helping people, and creating conditions where if I was arrested, I'd have so many people upset in the community, making such a loud noise that that's a cause that the community can rally around. And let's look at Lavoie. He had a spotless record. He took in foster kids. And one thing I noticed in the media, they said, well, yeah, he was an armed occupier, but he just seemed like such a good person. And I even saw that from local Oregon, the Oregonian in Oregon Live. And, being a person in good moral standing with the community really says a lot. And so, and it's, not necessarily even just about you, but it's also about improving the community and inspiring other people. So, from an intelligence perspective, the more eyes and ears you have, the more intelligence information you can collect. And the more information we have, the better intelligence we can probably produce. So keep this in mind. You know, if you're a recluse or you're isolated or you don't have a good relationship with your neighbors in the community, well, those are eyes and ears, and they're going to be used for someone. Either they're going to be used by an adversary, or you're going to be able to recruit them through your actions and goodwill, and then they're going to tell you information. So that's a critical part. I mean, your neighbors are your absolute worst counterintelligence threat, or they're your best intelligence collection assets.
So it goes back to hearts and minds, right, Sam?
Absolutely.
And on that, one of the things that we had planned for 2016 before we got a bit derailed here was in response to the San Bernardino shooting and the Chattanooga attack and the Garland, Texas attack, we were going to call on our folks to go out and help establish community QRFs, quick reaction forces, for the express purpose of defending the schools against active shooters and defending the community. And I think that's still a great idea. It puts you in the posture of being the anti-terrorist. You're there to stop ISIS in your community, and it makes it really difficult to attack you. So just like when we guarded the recruiting centers, it built a tremendous amount of goodwill across the country and local communities. I really encourage guys to focus on that concept. The active shooter threat is very real. The ISIS threat is very real. It's right here in our own country. Take advantage of it to get your fellow, folks in your town off the couch. Who wouldn't want to be part of an effort like that that's overtly anti-terrorist? You're going to get much more of them participate in that than if you were to walk around talking about the BLM and how you want to stand up against the BLM. So let's use the threats that are out there that the government is trying to use to get folks to give it more of the freedom. Let's use those same threats to get them off their butt and help them to restore the founders' militia.
Yeah, absolutely. And
there were two points that Pete mentioned in his email that I want to get out there. He said one idea is that planning for men behind the wire humanitarian relief efforts for dependents for those arrested and those to be arrested. So I think it's a really good idea. And also understand this is part of the game. No, there's no such thing as an oppressive regime in human history that does not go and conduct arrests and imprison people. That's how they shut people up, shut people down. So he's right. Understand this is part of the game, and we need to plan for that and plan to take care of the families when it does happen to people.
Well, I think we're getting about to the end of the show. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on. Anything else you want to add, Sam? Anything else you want to add, Sheriff Pyman, before we close this out tonight?
No, I think, we just need to continue to keep talking and organizing, continue, like Stuart said, to be, still take the model, to be a servant to these people and to win their favor by protecting them and doing the things we can to help them. And by doing that, building a community with the same heart, I think that's all good stuff. And, I think we just need to continue along that line, and people we can serve and I know I've been with Stuart places that when people deny our service, well, that's one thing, but when people are there and they didn't really ask for it, but yet it's there, they appreciate it as well. So I think this could be actually a really good thing if we just organize it and go with the right approach.
And folks, you can definitely get more information going forward. We'll be posting it at oathkeepers.org, any updates on anything we may move forward with. Sam, go ahead, please.
Yeah, go be a reserve sheriff's deputy, or go volunteer with your local sheriff, especially if he's a good constitutional sheriff. Not only will he appreciate the support, but you'll be making further inroads in the community, and you're going to be privy to lots of information that most other folks don't have. And in the event of an emergency, already having those relationships built in with the sheriff and the full-time deputies is only going to produce really good rewards from a community security perspective.
Great point. In fact, let me add that real quick. Here in Eureka, Montana, where we're at, our lead medical.
Wait for the facts to come in, and we'll go from there. Now, Sam, you're going to be, I believe, starting a new podcast roundtable. You had one already that was just phenomenal with Stuart. I think you guys are planning on making that a regular thing, and possibly starting with your next one next week. Tell us a little bit about that before we go and where people can listen to it.
Sure. Well, yeah, I actually, owe Stuart a great deal of thanks for working on getting that set up. So we had, 6, just heavy, the heaviest hitters, I think, in the nation as far as the Liberty movement goes. We had Stuart and Mike Vanderboe, Pete from Western Rifle Shooters, David Codria, who's he says he's an undocumented journalist and Second Amendment activist, and Bob Wright. And so,
and Matt Bracken.
And Matt Bracken. Yeah, Matt Bracken, who's a former Navy SEAL. And it was a roundtable. I had, each of the guests give a brief kind of summation or assessment of where we are as a liberty movement, and then talk about the future, what they expected or what they expect to occur in the future, and really where we can make the biggest impact and where we can achieve victories instead of, swinging at wild pitches and striking out. And so that's what happened on the last podcast. The next podcast, we're going to delve into community security, how we can build, neighborhood protection teams or community protection teams. And, nomenclature names don't matter. What matters is there's, local security element there. And folks, if anyone wants to listen to it, you can go to readfomag.com. That's readfomag.com. And then you can just, if you click on the FO podcast or the podcast banner, it'll take you to it. And it's episode 34, which is the Liberty Roundtable.
All right.
And it's also on iTunes. If you just search Forward Observer Podcast, it'll be up there.
And we'll go ahead and make sure to link those off of oathkeepers.org so people can find them in the future. And if you want to do a live stream, I'm sure we can figure that out as well. But right now it's just podcast, so we'll figure that out. Thanks for everything tonight, guys, for joining us, and we all appreciate the work you all are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jason.
Appreciate it.
All right. Good night, folks.
Yes, sir. See you guys.
All right, looks like we're done with that. All right, so there you go. That was the Oath Keepers national meeting. Just kind of some of the power players there to see what's going on. Let's see, it's 10:19. I don't know if I want to take any calls. Last night, y'all kept me up till the middle of the damn night. But I've been trying to play this all day, and it seems like every time we get started playing this, something happens. I'm going to play this now because, considering the issue, I think this is more than mildly